Hi, I'm Dennis Gage. Thanks for tuning in to My Classic Car, home of the certified car nut. Well, this week we're in sunny California to visit Jay Leno and play with some of his toys. Only one problem, today it's not sunny. In fact, it's pouring. So it looks like we'll be playing inside. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Dennis, you know, it's always a rainy day whenever Dennis Gage shows up in your garage. You know, you haven't been here, it hasn't rained almost for 1 year, and the one day you show up, it's pouring rain. The bad thing about pouring rain is we can't take any of the old stuff out, but the good thing is we get to kind of work on some projects that maybe have been on the back burner a little too bit because we're out enjoying the cars too much. This is kind of a pet project of mine.
Near and dear to your heart.
Well, this is a 66 Ford 7-liter. When I was 16 years old and had just gotten my license, my dad was the kind of guy, he would go into the dealership and he would buy whatever was on the floor. Give me that one, that's fine. If it had a radio, great. If it didn't have a radio, well, they didn't have radio.
It was there.
It wasn't available, yeah. So anyway, we go down to the Ford dealership and we walk in and there are Fairlanes and everything, but there are no Galaxies. My father says, oh, we'll go look at the Chevys. And the salesman, Tom Lawrence, no, Mr. Lawrence, you can order a car, you know. And my father, when do you order? How long is that going to take? It takes 4 to 6 weeks to order. Well, gee, I don't know. Come on, Pop, let's order a car. All right, great. My mom was there. Now, I kind of knew what I wanted. So my dad said, I want to get a full-size car. We'll get the Galaxy. And so we sit down, and my father said, well, let's order the car. Burgundy, that's fine. I said, can I pick the engine? My father said, whatever. I remember my mother went, oh, let the boy pick the engine. Let the boy pick the engine. What difference does it make? So I said to the guy, well, here's what we want. And I told him, we want the 428 with the police pursuit package. We want the muffler delete option. You know, we want the 390 gears. I couldn't get my dad to get the stick, so we got the C6 automatic. So anyway, this is all done. You know, my father looking around. What's he taking so long? I'll be right there, Pop. And just talking to the salesman. You know, I'm checking all the boxes. You know, so then the car goes into the dealership. You know, my dad's like, come on, let's go pick up the new car. So anyway, my dad gets in, he turns the key, and he goes, run down, run wrong! My father goes, there's a hole in the muffler. It's a brand new car, there's a hole in the muffler. I'm not picking up the things. I go, oh no, Mr. Leno, you check muffler delete. What do you mean muffler only?
Who would do that? What bonehead would do that?
Glass packs, muffler delete option. So my father's really mad. So we're sitting there in the dealership, and it's got the white floors, and my father says, oh God's sakes, you know, and he takes it, he puts it in gear, and he's just mad, and he steps on the car, and goes, yes! He just fished it, you know? He goes, think that's a rocket ship. It's a rocket ship. You made me buy. Now he's just screaming me all the way home. What the hell did you make me buy? Just yelling at me, Pop, I just checked the motor. You know? So, but then, like 3 months later, I'm in my parents' room looking for something, and I open the drawer and I see a ticket my dad got for going 110. So he liked the car, and actually, he became like the hit of the office because he had, you know, everybody else.
It was the baddest car around. That had to be bad.
When you grow up in a small town in New England, anything with 2 doors was a Corvette, you know. So most people had the 4-door, the Country Squire. My dad had this rocket ship, and I just loved the car until I eventually put it around a tree when I was about 18.
That does happen, you know.
And they didn't build very many 7-liters, so I spent my life, not my life, but I would say the last 5 or 6 years, trying to find a 66 7-liter, not a Galaxy. So I found one, and I had the 428, and I figured, well, let me redo it. Well, let's take a little bit. So we put the Roush.
You're checking boxes again, aren't you?
This is the way I would have built it if I could have in the day. It's got the Roush FE block. It's a 427 block. It's taken to 511. It's about 600 horse. It's got the Tremec 6-speed in it, electronics that were unheard of back in the day. And I'm just going to build the car, same color, same everything else that I kind of, you know, shamed my dad into buying back in the day. That's one project that, well, next time you're here, we'll take that out.
Okay. Welcome back to My Classic Car. What else you got, Jay?
Well, over here, this is another rainy day project. This is our white steam engine. This is for my 1907 white steam car. Whites were the premier car in America.
And that's not the white we took out before. That was the little white.
That's the 20-horse white. That's the wife's car. This is the 30-horse white. This is the one. Whites were the first cars used by the White House.
Oh, really?
The first presidential car. These were just one of the most reliable, best-built American cars made. You know them today as white trucks. And you know them most recently as Freightliner. Freightliner bought white. Yeah.
And amazingly simple, too. I mean, there's not, you think about an
it's
internal
not that
combustion.
simple.
Well, but in terms of number of parts, I mean, an internal combustion engine to pull that car around would be huge and have all sorts of stuff going on. And this is really it.
Yeah, this is it. And this makes a lot of power and a lot of torque. I mean, this will run down the road at 50 miles an hour, no problem. Actually, you only have 2 cylinders. You have a high pressure piston and a low pressure piston, and it works different from a Stanley. It's what they call a compound engine. It enters the high pressure piston first, and then you see little doors here, little valve, and it goes, then the steam gets used, and it uses the steam over and over again. It circulates, and it's a closed system as well. Has a condenser in it, unlike the Stanley.
So your water's going to last longer?
Your water lasts a lot longer. On a cold day like today, you might get 100 miles on a tank of water.
Oh.
On a hot day, you might get 25.
Oh, wow.
Because it condenses the water over and over again. And dead quiet, Steam was a real contender. You know, in 1906, I've got articles, which is going to win, gas, electric, or steam, you know, blah, blah, blah. It was a fight. I mean, gas always had the edge. It's like right now you kind of see hydrogen going by the wayside, everybody going lithium-ion battery, and then hydrogen, which I think is infinitely more interesting and fascinating, but electric just seems to be easier, and people want to go that way. So, and as you can see, the guys did a lot of work here on this engine. This was broken off here. There was a steam leak. One thing on whites, they have to be literally hospital clinical clean inside, because it has a thing called the flow motor. Next time you're out, I'll show you how that works. It regulates pressure, regulates fuel, so everything has to be clean in it. There can be no leaks because it runs on a vacuum as well. So there was a little crack here. You know, over 100 years, things deteriorate a little bit. Cast iron tends to deteriorate. So the guys did a great job fixing all those little leaks. So the next time you're out, when it's not raining, we'll take this one out too.
Rainy day projects. All right, what else you got?
Still ahead, Jay's got a couple more rare toys for us to play with. Welcome back to My Classic Car.
Now, what we've seen up to this point are rainy day projects. This would be a snowy day project. And since it rarely snows in Los Angeles, you're going to need your time to get into this one. You know, one of the fascinating things about having a job like I have when you're on TV, people know you're interested in these kind of things. And I heard from a lady whose grandfather died in 1969, and he was an engineer, and he designed and built his own motors. This is a motor that he built.
From scratch.
From
I mean, he
scratch.
Built
It is a V4. As it was explained to me, we have not taken it apart yet. We haven't had the time. It is both a 2-stroke and a 4-stroke, right? It combines the principles of both. At low speed, I think it is a 4-stroke, and then the valves close and it turns into a 2-stroke?
It's very much like a Detroit diesel 2-stroke,
Mm-hmm.
but it has intake valves on top of the head. Mm-hmm. And then it has exhaust ports on the bottom of the cylinders. So the 2-stroke makes sure it doesn't go through the crankcase like it does on a motorcycle engine.
Yeah.
It uses a blower to supply
Right.
the mixture to the cylinder.
So it's a blown 4-cylinder
V4.
V4 2-stroke / 4-stroke
Yeah.
mystery engine.
Yeah, built sometime between the 40s and the early 60s, I think. Now, it's interesting. The woman told me that her grandfather put visual things on this engine to throw you off track, so people wouldn't figure out what it was if they came to a shop. He claimed that it would get tremendous mileage. You would have the highway mileage of a diesel with the low-end torque of regular internal combustion engine.
And it's gas. It's a gas engine.
It's a gas engine. That is correct. That is correct. You see, it's got an alternator on it. It's got a few. We haven't had a chance to really get into it
So
yet.
he cast everything that we see
He made
here?
everything. In fact, in 1908, he went to MIT. This was his little project he built as a student. This steam engine here. It looks like an ordinary steam engine, but it has a lot of sophisticated features you did not see on steam engines of the period. Most steam engines were splash lubricated.
Right.
He's got the whole deal here where he lubricates
Feeds it
the
all
bearings.
down.
His name was Kogan, and he was an interesting man. And this stuff just languished in the basement, and the granddaughter, or the daughter rather, saw me on the daughter and the granddaughter. Just knew I liked these type of things. Said, "Oh, would you like some of this?"
yes, I would. Yes, I would.
And there's so much of that kind of stuff here in California. And we've got a few other engines he made around here, but this one is the big mystery engine. And one day, when all the other projects are done, we'll get it running. It has all kinds of interesting little things on it here. As I said, it's a V4. I don't know anybody's doing a V4 in the 30s or in the 40s.
Well, and especially a two-stroke.
Yeah. I don't know what STU 153 means. His name is cast right on the block there. See, it says Kogan.
Yeah, yeah.
and he built the whole thing himself. You know, this is like mechanical archaeology. It's like you're finding something from, you know, you mean the Greeks did this before them, you know. And that's literally what it is, because he was quite a guy.
So when all the other projects are done, you'll get to this.
Yeah, we'll get to this one. We'll get to this one.
Yeah, I like to put this on a dyno and get it running. It'd be interesting
Yeah?
to see what it does, you know.
Now here's a project.
Any other basement finds?
Here's some. Yeah, here's another one we got out of the basement. Come on over here.
Cool.
Welcome back to My Classic Car.
Now this here is an Ericsson hot air engine. This uses the Stirling cycle. There was a reverend, I think back in the 1700s, named Stirling. I think he was a Scottish minister. He invented the Stirling principle. And the way it works is you build a fire, the hot air causes the piston to rise. As the piston rises, it sucks up cold water, which then causes a vacuum, causes the piston to go back down, and it works as a pump.
So this is how you'd get, in essence, running water in your
what
house?
rich people did and what buildings did in the early days before you had electricity and to pump water. You would have one of these in the basement of your house. This one came out of President Teddy Roosevelt's house.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty neat. A summer house. And you'd hook it up to a water source, like either a pond or possibly a spring.
Just, drop hose in
you know,
it?
the maid or somebody
Yeah.
got in the morning, throw a few pieces of firewood or some coal in there, get it nice and hot, and it would start to pump water and pump it up into the cistern, you know, and then you could gravity feed down. Here, we'll show you how it works. Let's get, we'll put some water in this tank. It's a good rainy day project.
It involves water.
Let's go.
They've chosen a pope. Did I mention it was raining today? Did I address that earlier? I think I did. So last time I remember you with a blowtorch, it was underneath the Stanley steamer and it nearly exploded on us.
I know, that's right.
It's like you and fire. Where's that fire extinguisher anyway? I don't know, the music stopped and the monkey ran away. I don't know what's going on here.
It's so much easier than just turning the tap on. Here we go, yay, we're pumping water. And that's kind of how you pump water back in the day.
This is what you do on rainy days, huh, Jay?
That's what Hollywood people do on rainy days.
You know, that's living, I gotta tell you.
Oh yeah, Ryan Seacrest, he should be over here in a few minutes. He loves this stuff. Yeah, this is a good dead of winter one, you know?
It's dynamite, I love this.
Isn't that neat?
And it'll just sit here and do this. It'll just...
But the nice thing is, if this was in your house, this would be connected to your chimney. And this is down in your basement, and it's pumping water all day long. And once all this metal gets hot, then it'll be more consistent. But as you see, it doesn't make any noise. It's not really intrusive to anybody.
Poink, poink.
Yeah, and that seal's a little dry. That's why you hear it, but that'll loosen up in a little bit. And she just runs all day long like that.
On a few sticks of wood.
Yeah, I mean, you know, most people use coal. If you heated your house with coal back in the day, you put a couple of shovelfuls in here, and it'll pump water all day long. And the nice thing is, it heats the water up too. If you can feel the water's warm coming out, because it's got to go in here. That's not warm. This is getting warm.
You love this stuff, don't you?
Oh yeah, I just like the simplicity of it. There's not very many moving parts. I mean, it's relatively bulletproof.
Yeah, what can go wrong? I've said that with you before.
Well,
what could go wrong?
But you know what's interesting about this engine? This engine hadn't run in probably 100 years. And all we did was, you know, lubricate the leather seal, and it runs. The big giant steam engine there, that one hadn't run for well over 100 years. And we made it level, and we lubricated it and put fire to it and steam to it, and she runs. You know, imagine finding a 283 Chevy in 100 years from now sitting in the field.
Yeah, a lot of luck on that one.
Yeah, it's not going to run, yeah.
Next week, we'll travel to Indianapolis for the Road Rocket Rumble. You'll see some outlandish rods and customs and some smoking hot pinups. Plus, we'll check out some high-quality interior upgrades for Mopars.
So until our next meeting, remember, honor the timeless classics. I'm Dennis Gage. Happy motoring?